In continuation to the general characters of fungi, we'll see what is flagella, what are all the different types of flagella are there, what is the function of flagella, and all those things in this video. So my name is Janet Shankar Reddy, working as assistant professor in Jaya University near Kanyakumari. Let's starts with the definition. So what is flagella? So generally flagella like a hair-like structure which is used for locomotion. So not only for fungi, we know very well that bacteria produce flagella. Bacteria contains flagella, right? So when it comes to fungi, in few species of fungi, especially spores, so that contains a hair-like structure, that is a flagella, mainly used for locomotion. So if you see this thin hair-like structure, so on the second picture we are seeing a thin hair-like structure here, right? So the central axial filament, the central axis is generally called as axoneme. So actually it has a core, that is the central axis. That central axis filament is known as axoneme. So when it outside we can see hair-like appendages outside. So the hair-like appendages are generally called as flimmers. So if you see here on the first picture I have given, 9+2 types of arrangement is present in eukaryotes, so that is fungi, whereas 9+1 type of fungal flagella arrangement is present in prokaryotes, for example bacteria. I will tell you what is the 9+2, this is 9+1. If you see the cross section of the flagella, imagine this is a flagella, we are seeing the cross section of flagella. So if you see the cross section of flagella, so this is flagella, right? So imagine so 9 means 1 2 3 4 5, so 9 rings are present on the corner, and 2 rings are present in the middle, that is the 9+2 arrangement. So if you take the cross section, 9+2 arrangement will be present. So 9+2 arrangement will be present in fungi, whereas 9+1, so on the round 9 rings are present, in the middle only 1 ring is present. We can see here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9, so totally 9 rings will be present at the corner. In the middle 2 rings is present if it is a eukaryote. If it is a prokaryote, only 1 ring is present. It's a very important. I have seen this question in many places. So like how they will ask, like 9+2 type of flagella arrangement can be observed in eukaryotes. Fungi contains what kind of flagella? 9+1 or 9+2? 9+2. So 9+1 is present in prokaryotes, like example bacteria. Okay, it's a very important. Generally flagella is a hair-like structure used for locomotion. In the central axis, that is the axis called axonemes, and it also contains hair-like structure is called flimmers. So 9+2 arrangement is present in fungi, whereas the 9+1 arrangement is present in prokaryotes. We can also take it as considered as bacteria. So when it comes to the types of flagella, so before entering into the different in detail, but first of all we need to know general some terminologies. Whiplash, otherwise called as acronematic. Whiplash means flagella without hair or flimmers. I told you that flagella contains hair, right? That hair is called flimmers. So whiplash means flagella without hair, no hair is present. So tinsel means otherwise called as pantonymatic, which means flagella with hair. If a hair is present on the flagella, it is called tinsel type. If the hair is absent or without hair, it is called whiplash type. Anterior means upside, posterior means downside. Just now I told you whiplash means without hair, tinsel means with hair. So with this general inputs, now we will go with types. So these are all the types of flagella in fungi. Especially this flagella can be observed in mostly oomycetes, plasmodiopora mycetes, chytridiomycetes, and hypocytridiomycetes. If you ask me ascomycetes and basidiomycetes, it won't produce any flagella. And so let's see the classes. So we can see at the first picture, right? So as I told you, if the flagella is upside, it is called anterior, right? If the flagella is downside, it is called posterior. If the flagella having hair, it is called tinsel type. If it is a flagella having no hair, it is called whiplash type. So you just remember that. So now we will start with, no, here we can see the flagella at a downward direction. So posterior means downward, right? Anterior means upward. So posterior whiplash type. So posterior whiplash type example is Chytridiomycota. So here we can see that flagella is upward direction and it having flagella. If it is upward direction, what we can call anterior. If it is having a hair, what we can call tinsel, right? So it is anterior tinsel type. So the best example is hypochytridiomycetes. So next one is, here we can see anterior. So one is a short one is a long one. So here, which means biflagellate. So biflagellate anterior whiplash type, because the flagella is upward direction and has no flagella, sorry, has no hair, right? So biflagellate with anterior whiplash type, one is a short one and one is the long one. So best example is Plasmodioporomites, for example club root of cabbage, is a very very important one. So when the last one is, see here, we can see biflagellate, right? So biflagellate, one is anterior and another one is posterior. So first we will start with anterior. So anterior, and the thing is the flagella contains hair. If the flagella contains hair, what we can call tinsel. So if the flagella is no, it is called whiplash, right? So we will start with up. Anterior tinsel, because it contains flagella. The next one is posterior whiplash. Whiplash means no flagella. So anterior tinsel and posterior whiplash type of flagella is present in Mycology. All Mycota fungi produce anterior tinsel and posterior whiplash type of flagella, and it is one of the most important and specific diagnostic feature when it comes to Mycology. Anyway, let me come once again. So if the flagella contains hair, it is called a tinsel. If the flagella contains no hair, it is called a whiplash. Okay. If the flagella is upward direction, it is called anterior. If the flagella is downward direction, it is called posterior. So posterior, the first one is a posterior because it was downward direction. Posterior whiplash type was present in Chytridiomycota. Anterior tinsel, hypochytridiomycota. Biflagellate with two anterior whiplash, one is short and one is the long. Example Plasmodioporomicetes. Next one is biflagellate with anterior tinsel and posterior whiplash. So example is Mycology. It's a very very important. So we can expect one question from this types of flagellation, like Plasmodioporomicetes is an example of which kind of flagellation, or biflagellate with two anterior whiplash types of flagella are present in, or biflagellate with anterior tinsel and posterior whiplash type of flagella is present in, something like that they will definitely ask. It's a very very important. So this is a general example, general picture I have already shown. Upside means anterior, downside means posterior. If it is having a flagella, whiplash, sorry, no flagella, whiplash. If flagella, it is called tinsel. Posterior whiplash, Chytridiomycota, anterior tinsel, hypochytridiomycota. Biflagellate with anterior whiplash type is present in Plasmodium paromycota. Biflagellate with anterior tinsel and posterior whiplash mycota. Posterior whiplash is present in Mycology. So this is in general about flagellation in fungi. So for further details, in detail about plant pathology, student can refer this book, A Vision into Plant Pathology, complete student version. So for further guidance and doubts regarding plant pathology, students can reach us at www.geekyresearcher.com. Stay geeky, stay tuned. We are Team Geeky Researchers.